Before dragons ruled the skies, before their shadows terrified kingdoms, before their names became curses spoken only in fear, they walked the world as men. The world remembers dragons as monsters. It forgets what they were before the curse. In the age when forests still whispered and mountains listened, there existed an unspoken truth, guarded by the elves and buried beneath centuries of blood. Dragons were not born. They were made. And the first lie humanity ever told itself was that dragons deserved their fate. His name was Aurelian. Once, he had been called the most beautiful man to ever walk the mortal world. Kings trusted his counsel. Queens lingered too long in his presence. Poets failed to capture his face without trembling. But beauty was never a blessing. It was the reason he was chosen. Aurelian had been offered immortality, not the quiet kind, but the divine kind. A god of dominion descended before him, wrapped in light and authority, and demanded loyalty in exchange for eternity. Aurelian refused, not out of pride, but because he understood something gods often forget: immortality without freedom is not life. The god smiled and spoke the curse. "You will live forever," the god said, "but never as what you are." At dawn, Aurelian would remain a man. At nightfall, he would become a dragon, a creature of fire, scale, and endless hunger. A body powerful enough to destroy kingdoms, a soul gentle enough to hate itself for doing so. The first transformation nearly killed him. Bones shattered, skin tore, wings erupted from his back like punishment made flesh. His screams echoed across the mountains, and the world answered with fear. Villages burned, not because he wished them to, but because fire followed him like a shadow. And so the hunts began. Men sharpened steel, priests preached holy war, and dragons became the enemy of everything that breathed. Everything except the elves. The elves knew curses. They had watched gods lie before. And among them was a seer named Elwyn. She had dreamed of him long before she met him. A dragon crying with a human voice. A man trapped inside a monster's body. A fire that burned without hatred. When Elwyn finally found Aurelian, he was dying, half-shifted. Scales crawled across his skin like a sickness. One wing lay broken against stone. His eyes, golden and terrified, begged her to leave. She did not. She knelt beside him instead. And when her hand touched his bloodied scales, she saw everything. Cities burning against his will. Centuries of isolation. A man begging the night not to come. Elwyn wept. Not for the dragon. For the man who never deserved to become one. "You should run," Aurelian said. His voice trembled, not with rage, but shame. "I will kill you when the night returns." Elwyn did not remove her hand. "Then I will stay until morning," she replied. He looked at her as though she had offered him something more dangerous than hope. She had. Because hope asks for payment. That night, as the stars turned and the curse retreated with the dawn, Elwyn made her choice. She would break the curse, even if the world demanded she never try. They traveled in secret. By day, Aurelian walked beside her as a man, hooded, quiet, painfully controlled. By night, he chained himself, begging her to flee before the transformation took him. She never did. They crossed human lands where dragon skulls crowned iron gates. Cities where children were taught to hate creatures they had never met. Ruins where ancient magic still screamed in the dark. Elowin searched for fragments of forgotten spells. Aurelian searched for reasons not to ask her to leave. And somewhere between danger and silence, something fragile grew. Love. Not spoken, not promised, but felt in every moment. Elowin chose to stay. They never spoke the word. Some words change destiny the moment they are named. At night, by firelight, they sat close enough to feel each other's warmth. Aurelian would watch her when she thought him asleep. Elowin would pretend not to notice, because loving a cursed man meant accepting the curse might claim her too. And love, real love, never arrives without consequence. The Elven Council watched from afar. They feared prophecy more than monsters. Elowin's visions had begun to change. The dragon no longer cried. It watched. The elders summoned her home. They told her the curse could be broken. They told her the ritual would save the world. They did not tell her the price, because some truths are easier to offer when they remain incomplete. The ritual circle was drawn beneath a storm-dark sky. Runes burned into stone. Chains of magic bound Aurelian in his dragon form, glowing with ancient power. Elowin stood at the center. Her hands shook. Her heart screamed. Aurelian understood before she spoke. "You were never meant to save me," he said softly. "You were meant to end me." Tears fell freely now. "I didn't know," she whispered. "I swear I didn't know." Aurelian smiled, not with bitterness, with love. "If this ends me," he said, "then let it end gently." The ritual did not break the curse, it awakened it. The god who had cursed Aurelian appeared, amused rather than angry. The truth shattered everything. The curse had never been punishment. It was design. Aurelian was never meant to be freed. He was meant to become an eternal guardian, a dragon bound by pain, love, and endless watch. And Elowin, she was the anchor. Her life was the final seal. To save him fully, she would have to die. To keep her alive, he would remain cursed forever. The god laughed. Aurelian did not hesitate. He tore the ritual apart. Chains exploded into light. Magic shattered like glass. The god vanished, still laughing. Fire consumed the circle. When the storm passed, Aurelian stood as a dragon. Elowin lay unconscious, alive, but changed. Elowin no longer aged, nor could she leave his side. They were bound now, not by spell, not by curse, but by choice. The elves declared them abominations. Humans declared them enemies. The world moved on, but in the ruins of a fallen elven city, a dragon watches the stars, and beside him stands an elf who cannot die, still hoping, still waiting, because some curses do not end. They wait, and some love stories are not meant to conclude. They are meant to endure.